Here we go. Got it. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. And welcome to the Silver Stars Challenge. If you are watching this, hold on a second. Let me exit all these little extra things out here. We want to welcome each and one of you. I know my Miss Lulu is there. And today is all about the nutrition. This is Chris on here. Miss Hattie may be hopping on soon. Oh, there she is. Hi, Miss Hattie. We're talking about nutrition today. I really want us to focus on portion control, also on the ketones. I'm going to throw it over to Chris and my mother to go back and forth. If you guys have questions, I believe some people are going to hop on here. You can write your questions, but it's all about nutrition because when you get over 40, when you get over 50, things change a lot. So we want to just make sure we're doing what's best for each person. So Chris, are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready and I'm excited. And as you were saying, Tina, each decade, it seems like each decade we hit, our body changes a little bit differently. So I am 66, so I'm in that 60s decade. Hattie is in the 70s, newly to the 70s decade. Tina, you're newly to the 50s decade.
Yes.
Even the 40s decade, depending on when that little menopause thing wants to hit, it changes. And I don't know why it hits women so much harder than men. It's just God gave us that beautiful ability to birth children, and it requires a lot of hormones, and it requires a lot of stuff going on in our bodies to recreate these humans. And so with that blessing, we also have a bit of hormonal stuff to deal with. And I think really and truly when women are trying to lose weight and it keeps changing on them, we have to adjust. We have to adjust what we do with every decade because it's more than what you put in your mouth. All right. It's way more than what you put in your mouth. But today we are going to talk about what you put in your mouth. Okay. So Tina, you had
So I was saying that sounds very, very good. Yes, I think this is Brooke coming on now. I was going to say, make sure you keep an eye open for the chat because, we might get questions in the chat, but I'm just going to throw it over to you. I made you host. This is going to be like 20, 25 minutes, depending on our questions, but I'm throwing it over to you, Chris.
Hey, Brooke, good to have you. And I do want to make this interactive. So if you have any questions, you can throw them in the chat or unmute if you would. Throw some questions at me. We're talking about the basics right now today. And being a woman, it's a little harder to lose weight than it is for a man. And I'm just going to say it. But it does have a lot to do with our body's ability to birth children and to create other human beings. So as we reach each decade, we need to readjust. And the most important part is listening to our bodies. You might not have the same thing going on as one of your sister friends that's the same age. We've all got to listen to our bodies. We've got to listen to what kind of food it wants. I encourage you to learn to eat intuitively. And that doesn't mean like, oh, my body is telling me to eat a bag of Doritos right now. Chris said I should eat intuitively. No. That's not what it is. And once you tap in and tune into your inner self and your body, how it feels when you eat certain things. So it's an exploration at this point. So say you eat something. I'm going to give you the perfect example. Yesterday was the 4th of July. And it is also the anniversary of my husband and I, our first date. And my son and his girlfriend came over for a cookout. So I made a nice low carb cookout. And my son, bless his heart, and I love him dearly, and my husband's a big dessert person, brought over 4 of these little individual dessert things from Whole Foods, all different flavors. And am I going to turn that down? No. But do I know that since I ate all that sugar that my body's not really used to, today I'm going to feel a little bit different? And I got to tell you, I do feel it. So I want to encourage you to, when you do eat something and say later on that day, you might feel bloated, or later on that day you might feel a little sluggish after that particular meal you had. Think about what you ate and kind of put that in your mind, like maybe that wasn't the best choice. Literally, we are not supposed to be tired after we eat. We are not. So it's not the food it's not the amount of food you eat that causes you to get tired. It's the particular food you eat. But we've got to listen to our own bodies, and we've got to discover which foods make us tired, which foods might make us a little sluggish the next day, which foods might give us a headache, which foods might bloat us. So what I encourage you to do is write a food journal, okay? Now you can get your phone, you can have notes in your phone, write down notes in your phone. That's something that might have, like, oh, I just ate that and now my stomach is like blowing up, or I feel like I've got this hard rock in my stomach. Make a note of that, or just at least make a mental note. I know it's hard to write down all this food journaling and stuff, but it is for your own good. So while we're learning how our portions, I want us to learn how different foods affect our body, because like I said, we're all different. So pay attention to what's good for you. Tina, if you could interject about what happened with your blood, I would love you to give that example. I don't know if she's available. She is driving. So anyway, she was doing a, so Brooke, you're interested in intermittent fasting. Well, let's just jump right into it, okay? So I've been intermittent fasting for several years, and it wasn't until 2 years ago that I figured out one simple thing that changed everything for me as far as losing weight. So intermittent fasting is basically having a time where a window where you eat and a window where you don't eat. Where the downfall lies is a lot of times people will say, okay, I'm going to eat for these 8 hours. I'm going to eat from 12 noon till 8 o'clock at night. And they take that opportunity to eat for 8 hours. That's not it, folks. That is not it. People start to focus more on the 16, the other number, that 16, 8, 24. So we got 24 hours in a day. You're going to divide it up. How many hours are you not eating? How many hours are you eating? So that's your main thing. The longer you go without eating, the more time your body has to digest the food. It has time to put energy elsewhere into other functions of your body besides digesting food. So that's why it's really healthy, especially as we age. The smaller windows of time that we eat allows our body to heal itself and to really it's kind of like anti-aging. So the tip I have for you that is a little bit different than you'll hear from most intermittent fasting programs is wait 4 hours between each meal. So it turns out to be simple math. So say you're going to have your window, I would suggest a window of, if you're going to do an 8-hour window that you open up when you eat, I would suggest opening it up at 10 or 11 and closing it at 6 or 7 in the evening. The sooner you close it before you go to bed, the better off you are. So it's really good to have at least 3 hours before you go to bed where you're not eating. So you got that digestion process already starting. You're not sleeping with that digestive process. So I hope that makes sense. So let's say, yes.
Chris, you said don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed?
It's optimal. A lot of people will say 1 to 2 hours, but the sooner you can close that window and then have more time between the last meal and when you go to bed, the better. So you can start off slow if that sounds like a lot. Let's start out slow. So make sure you have at least an hour and a half, 90 minutes from the last piece of food you put in your mouth until you go to bed. What I want your ultimate goal is, though, when you really get good at this, is to have 3 hours between that last bite of food and when you go to bed. Now, keep in mind, let's talk about doing this 5 days a week. We're going to have a couple days where we're going to fit into our calendar social things that come up, just different things that come up. So if we can put it in our heads, we're going to do this way of eating for 5 days a week, it makes it more doable. Plus, we've got to keep our body guessing. We don't want to have it so rigid that it knows what we're going to eat, when we're going to eat, and blah, 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 because then it just adapts to it and you don't get the benefits of what you're doing. So we do want to keep the body guessing. So what I was going to say was open your window between 10 or 11 in the morning, eat your first meal. Now you've got 45 minutes to get that meal done. Okay. You don't have to sit there with a pile of food and get it in your face in 15 minutes. You can kind of graze through it. I find that more handy at my evening meal, because my evening meal, I might have a handful of nuts, or I might have some celery sticks and cheese, or make myself a little appetizer while I'm making my evening meal. And that way I feel like, I've had a little snack and I have my meal. So keep those in mind. All right. So if we open our window, say at 10 o'clock, because this is easier for me to do the math on, then you have one meal at 10. Then you can have another meal at 2 o'clock. And then you can have another meal at 6 o'clock. So that would be for a day where you're going to have 3 meals. Okay. Now, what we can do is mix it up even more. We can have days where we have 3 meals. We can have days where we have 2 meals. So on those days where I have 2 meals, like today, I'm going to have 2 meals. I probably won't have my first meal till around 1 o'clock. And that means I'm going to have my second meal between 5 and 6. Then I'm going to be done eating well before I go to bed at, say, 10 o'clock. So it's really doing the math, okay? And don't worry about that big number that people get all caught up in, the 16 or the 18 or the 20 hours that you fasted. It's more important to wait in between meals 4 hours. Now, if that is difficult for you off the bat, start with 3 hours, okay? But you want that digestive process to finish before you make your body start it again. So basically, we're eliminating snacking. But like I said, you can have a little snack while you're preparing your meal. So it's kind of like 2 meals in one if you want to do it that way. And so is that making sense to you, Brooke?
Yes. So is there anything wrong with eating later than 1 o'clock?
For
I
your
find
first meal, like if you're fasting?
I usually don't eat until the afternoon every day. And someone was saying that's like intermittent fasting, but I'm up late.
Okay,
And
what time do you go to bed?
it's usually late, 12, 1, 2
And
sometimes.
and
Um,
is there a reason for that?
no, no.
Okay.
Uh, but I'm up every day by 8, but I don't
Okay.
eat until like maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3 every day.
Are you just not hungry, or
I'm just not hungry.
okay. Okay. When would you say you finish your last meal? What time do you stop eating?
Well, I don't really have a meal late. I may snack late. That's my thing. Like I might have chips or some cookies and milk
Okay.
late. Like
Sorry,
Okay.
Brooke, I heard you say cookies and milk, and I gotta say, guess like cookies and milk. Inside joke.
I grew up on Oreos and milk with my dad when he came home late, and he'd get us out of bed and feed us Oreos and milk. So whether it's a snack or a meal, that doesn't make any difference. Let's just call it eating. Okay. If you're wanting to lose fat, is that your goal? Do you want to lose fat?
I want to be healthier, just in general,
Uh-huh.
like moving around more, and yeah, I guess losing fat. Yeah,
Okay. So moving around more is key. What do you do? I'm going to switch gears a little bit. What do you do for movement?
I was doing Zumba 2 to 3 times a week, and I kind of stopped that, and so now I'm trying to get back into just moving in
Yeah,
general.
and I would suggest just walking. What part of the country do you live in?
New Jersey.
Okay. I would suggest getting out and walking 5 days a week. Start out 20 to 30 minutes a day. Because if you can usually fit 20 minutes in to the course of the day. Start out just teaching your body, yeah, we've got to move. I know myself personally, when I go a few days without movement, I get cranky and I get sluggish. And it doesn't dawn on me all the time real quick. Why do I feel like this? And it's because I haven't gotten out and moved, it's crazy. So I would encourage you just to get out and start going for some mini walks. Don't think about the Zumba. Don't think I got to go to the gym. Don't think I got to do this. Don't let anything stop you from walking out the door when we get off this call and taking a 20 to 30-minute walk. Okay? Does that sound doable?
Yeah, I'm definitely working on that. I when and well, I'll ask later. Just want to know the different classes that are coming up. I
Yeah,
think
Tina will fill you in that. We've got a whole realm of classes. I taught one this morning at 7 a.m., which is basically it's called stretching with strength. And I show you moves to get your body ready to move. So you feel like you've kind of had a little massage when you're done with my class on Wednesday mornings. So anyway, let's give you some tips. I would
Chris,
love
really quick, I'm not sure if she told you. I saw in the chat she put intermittent fasting. I don't know if you talked about the fast that we're going to be doing. That has
Okay. I haven't talked about the actual one that we are going to do on July 10th. So we were talking about the intermittent fasting. We are going to do one with a kit. It's called the iFast kit, and it's put out by Prove It, the company that does our ketones. And it's a package for each day for 5 days, and it gives you protein, it gives you ketones, it gives you electrolytes, and it gives you some supplements to keep you going. And then we're basically going to eat one meal a day. So even though we're saying we're fasting, we are fasting from bad habits. We're teaching our body to nourish itself with the proper nutrition and go 5 days in a row and get it in your brain like, yeah, my body really likes to eat like this. And I'll tell you what the ketones actually will help you with is they'll help you get into that 4-hour mode. So typically if you get hungry between one meal and the next before it comes 4 hours, it's because your body's run out of fuel. It's run out of energy. It digested all the food you had. And it's like, okay, we need to refuel. And up until the ketones were available, you had to eat something to refuel. Well, if you drink the ketones, they're your backup plan. They're your fuel sitting around in your bloodstream. So when your body runs out of food, it kicks right in. And it's like, I can go, go, go. So I will actually get hunger pains when I'm doing the fasting, but they're not hangry pains. They're not the pains that make me shaky. They're not the pains that make me, I got to eat something now and I'm going to stuff my face and put anything I can find in it. No, they give you the mental clarity and focus. and they actually give you that motivation to move too. So if you have more questions about that, Brooke, I would love to just have a private conversation with you about that.
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know anything about ketones.
Well, you don't have to, and I don't blame you for not knowing because it's new nutrition technology. So let's get on a private conversation. Tina will connect us, okay?
Oh,
And I'll give you that information. So I don't want to keep you on here too terribly long, but so do you think it's doable for you to space your meals out 3 to 4 hours between meals and then make sure you don't eat for 3 hours before you go to bed?
I think that that's the only challenge is the before bed thing because I know it probably sounds crazy, but I don't eat a lot when I'm home. I think my portion control and what I'm eating is the horrible part of it. So like I said, like I'm not even hungry till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes I'm like, wow, did I even eat? And so that leads me into eating later.
Uh-huh.
So you see what I'm saying? So my eating
Yeah.
starts every day. So and then I'm up late.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what the issue is. And I know that I got to get better with this, like my sleeping schedule and being more disciplined with, having balanced meals during the day.
Yeah,
I,
that's why we're here. So Tina and I are here, and Miss Hattie are here exactly for that. Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
you won't believe it, but I'm 43.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you look like. I don't know, what it is. So this is great that you're 43, okay? Because we're going to teach you these good habits right now, and you're going to rock going into 50s. You're going to rock going into 60s. You're going to rock going into 70s because you just laid out where your downfalls are, okay? So sleep is one of the most important things that we can actually do for our body. There are so many things that happen while we sleep, especially for our brain, that we need. So I encourage you to focus on the sleep. But what might help you with the sleep is getting more movement in during the day. So will you go for a walk today?
I am. I'm actually trying to get ready at the moment. I'm going to
I
be
love
out.
it.
Yeah, I'm going to be out today and exploring and things. So, yes, I will be walking.
Enjoy that movement. Enjoy that movement. And we're going to help you with this. We're going to help you get to bed earlier. That is huge. We're going to help you eliminate that evening snack. And I know it's not easy. I know I can't just tell you, hey, don't do that. We want to make this a lifestyle change. So we're going to just gradually work on a few things at a time to make it easy for you to say, this is what I do. These are my good habits. And it's not going to happen overnight. So I would encourage you to start with movement. Try to get to bed a little bit earlier. Okay. I want you to plant it in your head. Our goal is to get 4 hours between meals and 3 hours from your last meal to bedtime. All right. You might even need 4 or 5 hours because you go to bed so late. Because if you do that, you're going to wake up and want to eat a little sooner. And it's just, even if we can adjust it by a half hour, okay, let's just take it in baby steps. Does
Mhm.
that sound doable?
Yes, definitely.
And that's what we're here for. So much of this, Brooke, is mindset as well, is wrapping our head around why we're doing this and what makes sense when we do it. If you have somebody that can answer questions instead of just telling you, hey, you need to do this, we're going to get to this is why you should do this. How's that sound?
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm here for you. Tina's here for you. Miss Hattie's here for you. Um, And do you have any other questions?
No.
Okay, we'll get on Tina will inform you, or I will inform you about our iFast program that we're doing, which will actually be probably a game changer on you just diving in quickly. It'll help you mentally and physically. And the ketones will actually help you get to sleep a little faster. Even though they give you great energy, the crazy thing is they calm your brain and they just make you want to do the right thing. So we do need to have that conversation. Tina, do you have anything else you would like to interject? I know
don't
you're
think
on the
so. I
road.
think you've covered it all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. Water. Did we talk about the importance of water, like half your body weight? That's another thing we can give them to help them start fresh.
Yes. So another thing to keep you going is water. This, our country in particular, is probably full of more dehydrated people than anybody else in the world. We don't even know what what the symptoms of dehydration are. People are walking around lethargic. They're walking around just achy. They're walking around just can't hardly move. And they don't realize it's because they haven't had enough water. Water is probably the easiest, simplest solution to starting your better health program. Now, there is a formula, a standard formula. You take your body weight, you divide it in half, and you drink that many ounces of water a day. And the minimum of that is 80 ounces. So if you're like 130, you got to still drink 80 ounces of water. A caveat to that, though, is some people drink too much water and they dilute their body's minerals. So I would encourage you to get an electrolyte or have a good salt in your system. So what I do in the morning is I wake up in the morning, I take a 1/4 teaspoon of a really good salt. I love Redmond's real salt. Just stay away from Morton salt. Any Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, a real salt that is mineral based is what you need. I put it in my palm, I lick it off, I down a glass of water. That salt is the minerals your body craves, okay? It's minerals, it's potassium, it's magnesium, it's phosphate, it's all this other stuff. I'm not gonna get sciencey. So your body needs some form of electrolyte. There are all kinds of electrolytes available. You want to make sure you get a high quality upgraded one. We have access to those that I can steer you towards. So along with your water, and you can put electrolytes in your water, that counts as your water. Keep your water level up. One thing I want to warn you about, if you're just starting to increase your water, get your water in as much of it as you can first thing in the morning. And then, good, you've got Himalayan salt. I love that. And then as the day tapers on and gets later and later, you can cut back on your water intake as long as you're getting what you need in, because you don't want to be up all night going to the bathroom. So I try to get probably half of my water in by noon. And then I just gradually drink the rest of it during the day, and I cut it off so I don't have to get up and ruin my sleep by going to the bathroom. Do you have any questions about that?
I'm looking at it.
Wonderful, Chris. Mommy, can you close us out with your experience with ketones, and then we can end it, how it's been a game changer for you, Mommy? And then we can close it out.
Sure. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I started taking the keto last year. I think it might have been October, August, somewhere around in there. And I know how when we first started, we were told to take a half package to start out, because your body has to get used to it, and it helps to clean you out, get you doing right, once you get good eating habits. But I never went to the full package. I do the caffeine free, because they do come in caffeine and caffeine free. I do the caffeine free, and I do the small package. And but I have a hard time now trying to eat. So I make better choices to eat more vegetables. I discovered something that works really great for me. You know the big package of the mixed greens that you use for salad? I take that and I put it in the pan and I put some garlic chunks and bell peppers, just mixed peppers and everything, and I throw it all in, mushrooms, and I let it all simmer down. It goes good as a vegetable, and it's also good, because I have a lot of it left over, to take just a little bit every morning and put it in the pan, and then scramble up an egg and put in it, and it tastes delicious. So, you know, you learn how to make better choices. Even though I eat terrible, I make better choices when I eat food, you know, not to jump. And today, I say I've lost probably like 40 pounds. Since I've started, might have even been more. And I feel amazing. I feel like every day I'm getting younger and younger. And I just did my 10K with Tina, and this is my medal. And then was in May I did the half marathon, and my sights are on International Weekend, which is 5K. I mean a 1 mile on the Friday, a 10K on Saturday, and a half/full on the Sunday. So Chris has got some new stuff, you know, her and Dustin, that I'm waiting for it to come to help keep me up, and I'll work on that. So Brooke, this will be really good for you because, you know, I see your lifestyle, and I understand what you say about not really eating at home, and then later on you want to snack and it's too late. But the ketones will also keep you regulated, so you won't want to eat meat. And I'm just here for you. If you can't reach Chris or Tina, you could always contact me. If I don't have the answer, I will definitely find it for you. And I just want you to be welcome aboard with our program. You know, pull somebody else in if you know.
Yeah, I love that, Miss Hattie, because it's our mission just to help people with what we know and what has worked with us. And so this isn't stuff that we haven't tried that we're going to say, oh, just do this. This will work. I read about this. This is stuff we actually have experienced. And it's in our heart to help as many people as we can.
Okay.
Oh, Chris, one more thing. When I went to pick up my shirt, right, I don't know if you can see it, my shirt after the run, I had put on the paper a large. And I'm like, because days before I left, I had a medium-sized shirt, and I put it on, and I had plenty of room. So when I picked up my number, the woman's like, no, you got to keep what you have. But when I got online, see how God works in mysterious ways. The gentleman before me, he tells the woman, can I get a large? This is for a medium. And she's like, no, you have to stick with what you sign up for. And I'm like, I'll take it. So I switched with him, and it worked out good. I'm a medium. And before I started this program, I was an extra large.
I love that story. I love that story and how it just all works out, doesn't it? All right. Tina, do you have any finishing words for us? She's kind of running the show on the road. And so I think, Brooke, do you have any more questions for us?
No, thanks, Chris.
Okay, let's talk soon. And we're all here to help you individually too. We have these calls, we have the exercise classes, but we're always available because we want to help you get over the humps, because it's not a one size fits all. This is something that we all have to master at our own pace and for our own body. Like Hattie said, she's not the person that drinks a full pack of ketones, but we figured that out right off the bat, you know, and it works for her. So it's whatever you need. All right, guys, on that note, I think we're good to end this call. We went about 5 minutes over. Safe travels, Tina. Safe travels, Hattie. It looks like you're both in the car. So proud of both of you for doing your run.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go out and do my walk now.
Okay. It's hot here. The humidity is, I think it's in the 90s.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
same here. I might have to jump in the pool when I'm done. Brooke, enjoy your walk today. Savor every moment of that walk. Make it work for you.
Thank you. Bye,
All right,
everybody.
talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.